So my paint dried up overnight, turned into this little rock. So I think that I forgot to put in the. So I think what's going on is I forgot to put in the glycerin. But anyway, it's pretty straightforward to crush it up and rehydrate it. So, excuse me. Something to watch out for if you're trying this trick too is, well, don't forget the glycerin, and then I'll let you know how much that makes any difference. It's possible that this stuff maybe just dries up faster than commercial paints. So yesterday I mentioned something about botanicals, that I was imagining these watercolory backgrounds as being a field of giant lotus or something. So anyway, whatever, I made this thing. What is this? I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's like a giant onion root celeriac thing. I want to one day do some paintings that are like faux botanicals. But if I do them, I want them to look good. And this does not look good. I don't know what this is. This is kind of a mushy mess. So I will say, I admire the botanical artists out there. I suspect they use more transparent colors. Trying to paint a botanical in opaque orange and sedimentary graphite is probably not. Anyway, I wasn't very happy with it. I was actually kind of annoyed with it. Super frustrated. Excuse me with the coughing. So I had made a bunch of these. I'd done a bunch of little pencil sketches, and here I am overworking this one to death and getting frustrated again. I had done some pencil sketches of various invented flowers, like I could make up some sort of alien botanicals. So I thought I'm just gonna blast some color onto these sketches, even though they're just done on cartridge paper, printer paper. So, just having some fun, frustrating myself. The way I paint is very, what do you want to call it? Aggressive, abrupt, I don't know. I paint very directly, I like to say. It's a sort of polite way of saying it. And the older I get, the more impatient I get, it seems. And that is not suited to making these delicate little flowers. Anyway, here I was just sort of burning off some steam painting these. So, fun, huh? Fun and games. I think maybe you can't paint every possible kind of subject. Like maybe not everybody is suited to all sorts of subjects. Perhaps, well, I can get into a mood where I just slow down and try to really just zen out and just render some details, but it's very difficult for me to achieve that kind of sense of calmness. I'm much more happy, of course, when I'm doing something very gestural, very loose, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So I have always said it's okay if I kind of flub one. Or two or three, or I just do a whole bunch of crap and try to find a gem somewhere along the way, right? It's a bit of a making excuses for yourself, right? That you have a way of painting and you really can't do anything about that. So you should try to find subjects that suit the way, or approaches that suit your personality. Because you're going to have a hard time, I think it's very difficult to change yourself and paint in a different way than you're naturally attracted to. I mean, I'm not a very disciplined person, so that's what I think. Could be, I should think harder, try harder on that. Anyway, that's what's kind of cool about 30 by 30, right? That, when you say I'm going to paint a painting a day, no matter what, regardless of what's going on in your life, making the time, clearing the decks, I'm going to paint every day. Some days you're not going to be on. Some days will be an off day. So you got to give yourself the, this is the old permission. This is the old permission thing. Give yourself the permission to experiment and the permission to fail. Decide something's not working. And I do on reflection after a day of not producing anything except these little doodles. You just have to maybe regroup. I would come back at these if I really wanted to do this, and I do want to do it someday. Well, first of all, maybe I would do it in different medium. It's always a shame because I have this temptation that I know there are easier mediums than watercolor because I have done them, because I do them all the time for commercial work where results matter more than experiments. I know I could do it digitally. Heck, I mean, now you could just use an AI to generate the flowers and then put your figures into these environments. But see, that's the problem with this argument of there is an easier way to do it. Is of course now AI is the easy way to do it. So then that leads you into a world where you say, why even bother to paint at all? Why should I even be painting this painting? Because there's an easier way to get an image. So the goal is not, that changes the game, right? Then the goal is not the image. The end result is not the goal. Because if that's all you cared about, then you would do it the easier way. The end result, especially if you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to just work in this very strict world of direct watercolor where I don't give myself any shortcuts. Everything is just on the page in one perfect stroke, or all or nothing. Right? You get the point, right? Why do we do that? We have to do it because we like it, because there's no other good reason to do it. So I kind of enjoy when I get into this stage of being a little bit frustrated, and then I can just blast away at these things, and it's actually kind of fun. In a way. It's cathartic. You can't care too much about any one individual thing, and you can sort of thrash out some emotions, and at the end of the day, maybe you like something. Maybe something turned out surprisingly good. Maybe it gives you an idea that you'll use in the future, right? Either way, you've maybe learned something the hard way. That's the only way I can learn things, is the hard way. It's the brute force way. People say, I prefer learning by doing. Well, that generally means I don't want to listen to anybody. I'll just do my best and see what happens. So here I've come back in, trying to impose a little bit of sense and sensibility on that chaos that I created. I'm just doing some little touches in white. Now this is terrible paper, and I'm not being serious. I didn't mix up a new white. I'm just using the dregs of what's in the bottom of a little jar. So I'm not being serious. But even in this very casual way, it's kind of neat when you go into your chaos and you do just a little bit of fixes here and there, some retouches, bring some clarity back to an edge with these whites. Actually, you can get something out of these disasters. Bring it back from the edge and maybe feel a little bit better about yourself, that you pulled ahead through, and at the end, these are kind of cute. I could scan these, do a little touch up, and actually they're kind of cute. Maybe they'd make a little print. Maybe I could put them on some bed sheets and print them on bedsheets.com. Who knows? That's what I love about botanical art, is it's so decorative. Once you have a nice piece of botanical, you can use it on all kinds of things. But I don't think I do. I don't think I have a future with the botanical art, only as a prop, perhaps, for my weird little fantastic paintings. And I hope it was interesting. And we'll see what I do tomorrow. And I really actually am making it up as I go along this year. I don't have a concrete plan of what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I'm going to spend some time on the site and see what you guys are doing. Look for some inspiration. Come up with something else. Okay? Talk to you later. See you guys tomorrow.